Hello, Senator Rubio.
Yes.
This is Kayla Tucker in News 13 in Panama City. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So we'll just go ahead and jump in since we're
Okay.
kind of tight for time. If you would first, just kind of tell me what's in the disaster response supplemental legislation that you have before us.
Well, first of all, reimbursements for local communities who have suffered greatly, have had to pay money up front on this disaster situation. And then the other, which I think is really important, is it's going to provide money for the timber industry, which has been badly hurt by the storm. And historically in the past that's not been the case, but we've been able to work with the Department of Agriculture and others to ensure that they will be covered as part of a disaster supplemental for agriculture. So those are important. Obviously there's still, I know the cameras other than you guys have long left and the national media has moved on, but there's still incredible devastation. And a lot of the local governments down there that are really struggling with the money they had to put out in the street to begin this recovery, we need to get the reimbursements now moving.
And so is this supplemental like by itself for disaster relief, or is it paired with anything as well to get passed?
Well, no, it's paired with other disasters. For example, it has money for the flooding, it has money for Georgia, California and the forest fires, Hawaii had a couple. It also has money for Puerto Rico and the SNAP program, which has already run out of money over there. That's the food stamp program. So it's paired with other disasters, but it's a disaster relief bill. It's not put together with anything other than that.
So there's no security on it or anything that it's just disaster-based by itself.
It's just a disaster bill, disaster funding for different components. Now, there may be efforts to add things to it, obviously. When people see something moving, they want to put their favorite project on it. But we'll have a vote today that I think begins that, and we're hoping that we can get this done by the end of this week. The President's eager to sign it.
Okay, so then let's talk about the Sunshine Protection Act as well.
You're talking about the daylight savings?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think most Americans kind of look at that policy and say, why do we have to keep moving the clocks back and forth? It doesn't make a lot of sense. There really is no 21st century modern day reason for it. There probably never was a very good reason for it, certainly in the last 30 or 40 years. And so I'm not claiming it's the most important issue facing the Republic, but it's one that there seems to be a lot of consensus around. And actually the idea came out of the Florida legislature. They passed a bill last year. Governor Scott signed it, sent it up here. We filed it a year ago. It didn't get a lot of traction, but this year the president's jumped on board. There seems to be a lot of interest, and I just think it makes sense, you know, and as opposed to this sort of policy of moving the clock back and forth. And from a practical perspective, as the father of well, one's an adult now, but 3 kids involved in all sorts of activities, that extra daylight at the end of the day really opens up all sorts of opportunities for sports and recreational activity that frankly today you lose in the fall and winter when it gets dark early and facilities don't have lights. So I hope we can get that done.
Okay, so just kind of going back to the disaster response supplemental, I know that a lot of focus has been on Tyndall and their recovery, and obviously it's such a big part of our area and the Panhandle, but also going to the naval support activity that's here in the area. Would those funds also go to help rebuilding that base as well? Yeah,
and we're hoping to get exact figures today, but we've gotten very strong commitments from the Navy and the Air Force and all the installations up there that not only are they going to rebuild, but that those facilities will have an important purpose. You know, I know how valuable these facilities are to the U.S. It's a very unique national security asset. It gives us the opportunity to test. It gives us the opportunity to train in ways that we really don't have anywhere else. The test range out in the Gulf of Mexico is a national treasure for national security purposes. So I believe there's a strong commitment to giving a real purpose to these installations. We just have to make sure that the money begins to move. And we'll have final numbers today, but we're very optimistic that we're going to get something real positive and a good start going on it.
Okay, so talk about your new paid family leave legislation as well.
Well, this year we're going to partner up with Senator Romney, who's newly elected from Utah, and it's similar to the idea, some tweaks to the idea we filed a year ago, but it's pretty straightforward. Look, for millions of Americans, the birth of a child means that they have to take time out of work, and while the law allows you to take time away without losing your job, there are very few people that can go 6, 8, 10 weeks without a paycheck, and most employers don't provide it. So right now all the options out there have been either provide, let's raise taxes and provide a government benefit, create a government program, or force companies to provide it. And I'm not in favor of either of those two things. They have unintended consequences and they would be damaging. So the third option is we will give people the option. It is not a requirement, they don't have to do it, but we'll allow people to say, you know what, I'm going to borrow from my Social Security, my future benefit, now because I need the money today, and then I can pay it back when I retire, either by retiring. If you take 2 weeks, you can retire 4 weeks later than you were normally, or by doing what people do now with early retirement, and that is a small reduction in their benefit. It's up to them. It's an option whether you want to use this. It's an option how long you want to use it. And it's an option when you choose to retire. No one will be required to do it. But at least it gives people an option, because right now a lot of families, when they're having a child, are going on public assistance. They can't work, so they go on government assistance, or they run up enormous debt. And having a child should not be a debt-inducing event. And it's a strong pro-family option that we want to pursue. We're going to file it again, and the White House has been fully supportive of the concept and the idea. And we feel real good now that across this political spectrum, everyone's talking about this very important issue that we need to solve.
And just lastly, some exciting news. You named Southern Craft Creamery as the Senate Small Business of the Week. Kind of talk about why you chose them. You know,
we spend as I became the chairman of small business, we're always looking for small businesses that are local success stories, homegrown, and that are invested in the community. And they're one of the companies that has given back. They're invested in the community, and it's one of the things I love about small business. Small business is a part of the community. They're not just located there. They contribute there. They hire from there. They are embedded in the community and in the community's life. And we want to support small business, and we want to highlight successful ones. There's no way, there's only 52 weeks in a year, so there's no way we're going to get to every great small business. But we're very proud of that one and others that every week we name a new one. And as I said, I think it's an important opportunity to highlight how important small business is for our country and for Florida.
All right. Is there anything else you want to add about any of the topics that maybe I didn't ask you about?
No, I think we covered it all.
All right. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Senator.
Thank you.